All right, so we've looked at the result, we've looked at the analysis, we've looked at the result, we've looked at the analysis, and our result shows this. But now, how are we wired? Listen, number one, I said, if you look at the assessment, you will see that you have traces of Hall. You have traces of Hall. But the way you are today is as a result of three things. The first one is your environment. Your environment plays a very significant role. The second one is your upbringing. And the third one is your significant emotional experience. Significant emotional experience. You see, that word is just like you say your advanced childhood experience. It's saying that there is something about your past that is very strong that you can never forget. However, your wiring today is a product of your thought life, and your thought life is an outshoot of what you see and what you hear. I'll say it again. Your personality today is a product of your thought life, and your thought life is an outshoot of what you see and what you hear. Now, while you are growing up, what you hear and what you see is what enters into your mind. Whatever things enters your mind is what shapes your thoughts life. Now, because it enters your heart, and that's where you hear the statement that the heart of the matter is the matter of the heart. The cocoa of the matter is actually the matter of your heart. What is the state of your heart? The state of your heart is what we actually call your belief system. This belief system is what has been registered in your subconscious mind. It has entered your conscious mind by the things you see consistently and the things you've heard consistently for many years. And this is what actually formed who you are. In other words, you are a product of your thought. Your thought actually determines your action, and what you do determines what you become. What you do consistently for the next 21 days becomes an habit, and it's your habit that determines your character. Now, this is what I'm saying. Your belief system, which is your product of your thought, determines your behavior, the way you behave. Your belief determines your behavior determines your become, right? I use the word behave. I don't want to use behaving or they say, you understand what I'm saying? Now, what you believe determines what you behave or how you behave. And how you behave determines what you become. So if you want to say this, friends, I would say anything that talks about your change mechanism or change management, you have to go not to what it has become. You have to go to what he has believed. That is the thought. And I said this, you don't have the capacity to change your partner. You have the capacity, you only have the capacity to influence the change. Influence the change. And I'll go back to you. That is what we call the map of the world. Now, the map of the world is your own interpretation of the worldview, your own interpretation. And you don't interpret things the way they are. You interpret things the way you are. And the way you are sometimes might be distorted based on where you are coming from. And that is what we're talking about, your map of the world. Right? Many people have a distorted map of the world. For example, if I greet you this way, and I want to ask, is it a right way of greeting or a wrong way of greeting? If I say, and I'll need a response if you can't, guys, good morning. God bless you. How are you, everybody? I hope you are okay. All right. I've greeted somebody here. Is there a good way of greeting or a bad way of greeting? Let me do it again, and I need response. I'll start again. Good morning. Good morning. Hi. Good morning. Is there a good way of greeting or bad way?
It's a good way.
Oh, yeah. Let me say correct. Yeah. For like somebody say, okay, what about this? Okay, what about this? Your father. Yeah, good morning, man. your head is not correct, man. I can see, can you see this waka person? Can you see waka person? I can see you this morning, waka guy. Is it a good way of greeting or bad way?
Bad way is a
bad way. No, I will ask where the person is from.
You see, those of us that said that last greeting is a bad person, you are a rash person. You are a rash person. Do you know why? Because is somebody with me? I'm just giving us perspective. The person that greeted you that way in some location or in some area or in his own community, that is the best way of greeting. But best, when they wake up in the morning, they wake up by saying your father to say good morning. They wake up to say your mind is crazy, you are a crazy guy. It's a compliment, it's not an abuse. But why is that one, you are a bagger and all that? Why is an abuse to you? Because your own map of the world, your upbringing, the things you've heard, has programmed you to say that that greeting is the best way of greeting, this other greeting is a bad way of greeting. But the person that never heard this word, good morning, and you are saying good morning is a good way of greeting. Who says? So you don't interpret things the way the things are, you actually interpret things the way you are. So if you are judging me based on your own map of the world, is a wrong assessment of who I am. Am I making sense here?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
Stop condemning or judging your partner. If you want to really assess your partner, don't assess him based on where he is today. Assess it based on where he is coming from. This will give you a better interpretation of who he is. And that will help you not to be getting angry or getting irritated and all that from all the things he's doing. But that does not mean you should leave him the way you met him or leave her the way you met her. That is where what the person has seen for many years has shaping his belief system. What the person have heard for many years have shaping our belief system. So what you need to do to bring out the best in the person is to change what the person hears and what the person sees. Right? So that is where exposure comes on board. That is where you need to change the environment. You need to expose the person. For example, somebody went, I know most of us have had this story before. A guy from Nigeria, right? A guy from Nigeria went to US and then he was praying, and he was praying, normal way we pray in Nigeria. So he was praying and the white guy went there and tapped him and asked the question, "Are you okay? Is everything okay?" And the guy reacted, "You are disturbing me. I'm praying. You are disturbing me." He went back and he continued his prayer. The guy went again. I said, "Are you sure you're okay?" And all that. He said, "Guy, you are disturbing. You see, you are obstructing and disturbing my flow with God and all that." The guy continued his prayer and left him. And the guy went again and tapped him and said, "Please, do you need coffee? Do you need coffee?" And the guy was angry. Okay, so afterwards, when he finished his prayers and all that, he now went to the white guy and asked the guy, "So, sorry, you saw that I was praying and you were disturbing me." And the man said, "Oh, sorry, I didn't know you were praying." Said, "But you can see the way." He said, "No, you saw when you were shaking your head, I thought you were cold. That was why I was coming to you and asking, do you need a coffee? Maybe if you are feeling cold, there is coffee," because the shaking of head and all that is not normal here. It's when somebody is going through cold and all that, that's when they're shaking. And we in Nigeria, when you want to pray, you have to shake the body. Oh, wow. And that was the way the guy went. Can you see perspective? Right? So the guy that saw the person praying had a wrong notion because he had never seen anybody pray that way. So is that prayer, is it right prayer or wrong prayers? Right? So I'm saying here that our wiring is as a result of our upbringing. Do you know some people from the way somebody that came from a polygamous family might be a bit different from somebody that comes from a monogamous family? So you don't interpret the person based on what you see now. You need to help give interpretation based on where the person is coming from. And that one will ease your tension. For example, if your partner is a firstborn, right? If your partner, listen, guys, if your partner is a firstborn and is more like the father in the house and all that, the way he will behave will be different from the way the lastborn will behave. The way the lastborn will behave will be different. The way the secondborn will behave, you're always in competition, will be different. Right? So you need to know how this person, where this person is coming from, because all these things will determine the reactions and the way the person is reacting and the person acting. For example, I counsel people and I said to people, sometimes you see your wife nagging or shouting, and sometimes I say to some people, please hold on. For you to rightly assess the person, let's know where the person is coming from. Sometimes you see our husband fighting their mother in their wife, or wife fighting their father in they are fighting their mother's battle in marriage. The way they saw the way their father treats their mother, they don't like it. And they have vowed that I will never take this from any man. Now they are married. The man just says something, and what he said is a trigger, right? Seeing how the person said, this is how this person is. So now begin to fight, begin to react. You know, with the assessment, what the person needs is not for you to condemn the person, it's for you to pity the person, because what the person has, the belief system and the thing the person has seen for many years is what you are seeing playing out. And you need to give the person a right perspective. Some people are suspicious of guys. They can never trust guys, but they trust you. So give that person the right perspective. Some people believe that there's austerity, things are hard. You need to give the person perspective. For example, while I was growing up, I believed that going to the supermarket, things in the supermarket are very expensive. So I rather prefer to go to my 12, go to all these local markets and buy it. I feel things there are cheap. Until the perspective changed. Thank God for Daystar. Thank God for my connection with people. I started moving in. I moved to Magodo, and then most of the things were buy. I now discovered that even some supermarket, the items in the supermarket are even cheaper than the ones there. But what gave us that notion while we're growing up that things in the supermarket are expensive? Exposure. Right? Exposure. So I'm just saying here, this is how most of us we are wired. We are wired, and we are a reflection of where we are coming from. And for things to change, you must change. For you to expect a change in your partner, the change must start from you. And it will change by first for changing your expectation, your standard that you have had about your partner. Your partner don't know that there is nothing that is wrong for him to come from the office and put his clothes on the chair. He doesn't see anything wrong in that. But you are complaining. Yeah. Listen to me, guy. Don't kill yourself. A guy does not know. All you need is give him a better picture and a better perspective, right? Tell him why you put this thing is wrong and all that. The guy, in fact, is the neatest in his family. Neatest. While the person is growing up, he always know that his mother sometimes hang her own pint in the sitting room. The brother, everybody, daddy come. So he's used to that kind of environment. Even their living room, everything is scattered and all that. So he even tried to even put something, even you may think that he's doing it intentionally. Guys, slow down. He is not doing it, or she's not doing it intentionally. It's just because he doesn't know better. So for him to know better, if he knows better, he will definitely do better. Now, what are you supposed to do, right? What you need to do, say it. That this thing is wrong, and not just say it. Sometimes he put his chair as he's dropping it, just go there and go and pick it. Let him see you that you're carrying it to where it's supposed to be. You are passing a better message across, not always condemning the person or condemning her. You're always burning soup. Always burning soup. Listen to me, some people that burn soup, you don't know that maybe when you were growing up, it's local pot they were using, that if the pepper is not burning and it's not smelling, they have not cooked. Now you marry that person to your home and you are complaining that it's always burning soup. Listen, change perspective. Sorry, I want to be sure that I'm making sense. Go to the chat room, please. If I'm making sense in this class, go to the chat room. I said, write on PKO. I want to be sure people are listening. If I don't get up to 10, okay, let's say up to 5 people that will respond, I will not continue, right? Okay, up to I have 3 yet. I have 3 yet. I'm still waiting. 3.5. I have 3.5. Yes. Okay. So that's right on, right? Some people are not saying anything. All right. I need one more person to say it, then I'll continue.
Yes.
All right. Okay, so let's go on. I hope this session is making sense to us. I told us it's going to be a bit lengthy. I'm just trying to lay a foundation. Now I've talked about the way we are wired. The way we are wired. Now, please note this. Now, because we are wired that way does not mean we should remain that way. Now, we have all the 4 personalities, right? Now, while we are growing up, each environment plays up 1 or 2 of the personalities while we're growing up. Despite the fact that some of us, we have it in us. But while we are growing up, despite the fact that your father can talk, your mother can talk, do you know that you have the tendency in the midst of people that can talk for you to be very quiet among them? Do you know that? What are the things that make you like that? To be quiet among your brothers? You know, note this. If you watch your wife or your husband that talks loud, go and check the family. Most of them, when they are talking, in fact, some people, they will knock their house and say, I hope everything is okay. Why? Because they are always shouting. It is not a crime. It is not a disadvantage. But while they were growing up, that is the way they deliberate. That is the way they talk. When they are talking, they are reasoning out, they are always shouting at the top of their voice. That is it. So when they are married, they will definitely display that kind of thing because that is what they are used to. While some people, even when you are beside them, they are saying something you will not hear because when they were growing up, that is the way they communicate, right? So don't say the person shouting or the person is wrong. No, it's because you don't know where the person goes. So how can you manage that kind of thing? That is why this character development is very important in marriage, right? So now, so you were growing up also, if you grow up in a particular family that when you're talking, they're always talking down on you, listen to me. The moment they are talking down on you, it will kill one part of you. You won't want to be talking. And not wanting to be talking is fueling a particular personality. If you're in an environment that they encourage you to talk, that encouragement to talk is fueling one particular personality. Now, that does not mean that you cannot talk. But while you are growing up, there is this experience you had that played down your talking ability. You don't know how to talk. You're always making mistakes. And it kills your personality. It kills you. It makes you to go down, not wanting to communicate. Right? So I don't know if this class is making sense. Go to the chat room. Let me know. It's making sense. It doesn't make sense. I don't understand. Please go to the chat room. Let me be sure. Right? Good. So now I'm just trying to give us this perspective so that when you are married, or those of us that are married, your wife will display, your husband will display, and don't attack the person just like that. Please know where the person is coming from. Sometimes when you understand where the person is coming from, it changes your perspective, it changes your interpretation, and sometimes you are supposed to pity the person to help the person become better than you condemning the person. Right? So growing up in a family and they always make you feel as if you are not wanted or you're not needed or you would naturally go cold. And sometimes you will discover that what you are looking for most of the time is love. So while you're growing up, you are always looking for someone that will affirm you. Why? Because while you are growing up, people don't affirm you. They make you feel as if you are a nobody. So when you see somebody that make you feel important, you cleave to the person, you get close to, you find yourself clicking to the person. It's natural, right? And what I'm saying in essence is that this environment has the capacity to play up your personalities, play up. So you find yourself in the environment that can engineer or can stir up your choleric personality, the characteristics. You will see your choleric part coming up. And if you grow up and continue consistently in that one, you'll see that your choleric score will go up. Yeah, it has been tested. Though you have a default setting, but you discover that when you are with the people, the choleric in you will play up. For example, while I was growing up, I know right from time I'm phlegmatic. I don't like talking. I don't like playing. But when I'm with you guys, you see me. People say, Pastor K is very. So if I ask you what is my personality, most of us will say I'm sanguine. I'm going to take the characteristic later. Some people will say I'm sanguine. But naturally, I am not. Why? Because when I am growing up, I feel I am a nobody. I feel like, but now I started growing up. I started exposing myself to other people. I see people that accept me. And then the other part of me that can talk started coming up. And then I see myself interacting with people, making people feel good. Sometimes making people feel good about themselves is because of what I have gone through while I was growing up. Right? So this... sorry, is this class, is it making sense? Is it making sense, right? So I'm just saying this, that stop condemning one another and don't give up on one another because of what you are seeing displayed now. It will play up, but with that interpretation, it will help you. And what will help you to do is to change what the person think and what the person see. Right? It will change. It helps you to be able to give a better interpretation to what the person see and the way he interpret life. Some people interpret life and say life is hard, right? So the way they will handle things is they are always very, very, just like somebody is very stingy. It's not that the person is born stingy, no, because he grew up in a scarcity mentality mindset. And so he always withhold the little that he has. No, so but when that environment changes, you will discover that the best of the person will come out. So that's why stop talking about the negative of your partner. Feed on the positive. Yes, the partner knows the negative. So when you want to attack, not attack, when you want to address issue, stop coming from the negative of your partner, come from the positive, and then go to the negative and come back to the positive. The person will listen clearly. Now, it's not all personality that will take that. Some personality just go straight to the point. I will get it like that. They don't believe in sandwich mentality, but across board is accepted. So what I'm saying in essence is that we have the 4 personality, but what you have seen today is what has been played up based on your map of the world. What I've played up greatly is based on your map of the world. So your partner should now say that you grew up in a place where you talk. You express yourself. Your partner grew up in a place where he doesn't talk, doesn't express, he only thinks. What he will be doing most of the time, he will say that, can't you think? You're always talking, you talk too much. Could you don't have time? Not knowing that he's the one that is not normal. But we used to say that, because his own map of the world is this conservative, no talk, and your own is talk. So what you are supposed to do is to complement one another, not to be competing with one another. Is to complement one another, to help one another become better and not bitter. All right. So all these things I have mentioned, I've just explained your wiring, how you are wired. Now, let me just see if I can create time to explain now each of the personalities as I've displayed it. Or maybe I should pause a bit and take questions. Do you have any question you want to ask? Any question?